The city lights pulse below, masking the chaos brewing in the shadows of the concrete jungle. Night has fallen, and the real game is just beginning. A grim announcement echoes through the air. The situation has taken a turn for the worse. The news is bleak. The South Korean hunters failed their 6-star raid, barely surviving only thanks to the Japanese team. It seems even in fantasy worlds we can't escape disappointing news headlines. The rivalry with Japan is reaching a boiling point. The pay gap between the nations is making everyone sweat with frustration. Still, some remain optimistic, pinning their hopes on the rising generation of rookie hunters. The focus shifts to Seo Yul. Seo Yul, the rescue department supervisor, steps onto the scene. He brushes off the gossip, insisting that the hunters need to handle their own business. He snaps back at his colleague, questioning why he's so rigid about the mission at hand. The cynical truth comes out. Guild hunters are all the same, always looking for someone else to shoulder the blame. Just another day of bellyaching from a civil servant. This is the reality of their world. Meet the Bureau Hunters, an organization comprised mostly of mid-level awakened individuals. It's the same old story for the Bureau, underappreciated and overworked. The organization is split, featuring the Vanguard and Surveillance departments. And, of course, the Rescue Department. 3 departments in total, all trying to keep the world from falling apart. Within this system, when a gate goes sideways, Seo Yul is the one who jumps into the fire to save lives. His primary job description is simple. He is a searcher. The air cracks with unstable energy as a terrifying rift tears through reality. Armed guards stand frozen, staring into the abyss of the unknown. He bellows at his team, demanding absolute focus. They are diving into the gate to pull the epic guild members out. Nobody better blink now. A wild executive appears. It's Baek Junhwan, and he's got a lot of nerve acting this smug while his team is dying. Seo Yul isn't having it. He's ready to throw hands with this corporate suit. Baek Junhwan, an executive of the massive Overcross Guild, thinks he owns the place. He's a ruthless shark who feeds smaller guilds into deadly gates just to rake in the cash, regardless of the body count. A petty, greedy old man who is responsible for more emergency calls than he has years left on this earth. He's addicted to the profit, even if it's painted in the blood of his subordinates. Seo Yul shuts him down, telling the old man to get out of the way. Lives are on the line. The guild executive offers help with a grin that screams ulterior motive. Seo Yul calls him out. This whole disaster is his fault, yet he's still trying to polish his guild's reputation. They don't need his help. They do their jobs for real, unlike some people. The gateway to chaos rips open. A mysterious figure watches as elite soldiers march straight into the belly of the beast. The old man grinds his teeth in a fit of pure, unadulterated rage. Something has pushed him to his absolute limit. Stay alert, everyone. The danger is just beginning. They've called for backup. Help is supposedly on the way. He issues a blunt, life-saving order. Just don't die. Pure terror grips her soul as the world crumbles around her. She's frozen in absolute, heart-wrenching shock. A gargantuan claw erupts with lethal energy, ready to tear everything in its path to shreds. One strike from this beast spells certain doom. The tension snaps as she turns to face a terrifying, shadowy threat. Silence shatters in the face of impending doom. Her eyes clamp shut in a surge of overwhelming agony. She's holding back a torrent of pure, unbridled despair. With a sudden burst of speed, he launches into motion. The ground trembles as he kicks off with explosive power. With eyes blazing and lightning crackling, the hunter lunges forward to deliver a lethal, electrifying strike. The beast never stood a chance against this overwhelming surge of power. The warrior stands his ground, spear raised to protect his fallen comrade from the surging waves of dark energy. The tension is palpable as a lethal threat looms right before them. He checks on his teammate. Are they still in one piece? The rescue team has arrived, and they mean business. He shouts for Seo Yul to get moving. The ghouls are swarming like a bad case of the flu. They need a new exit route, and they need it yesterday. In a flash of pure adrenaline, he snaps his gaze toward the threat. The hunt is on. He triggers his skill, Silent Wave. He shuts out the noise and focuses on the vibrations. He maps the dungeon's structure through the echoes of the earth. He's hunting for an escape route before they all become ghoul food. Gotcha! He's locked onto the path. He shouts to the section chief. The path is open, and it's time to book it. No time to waste. They bolt for the exit as if their lives depend on it. Because they do. A doubt creeps in. Is this really the right way out? Even though their seeker is only a D-rank hunter, he's got skills that put others to shame. He's one of the best in the country, so stop worrying and start running. That's what he said with total confidence, but reality has a funny way of making plans go south. Panic sets in. Are they sure this is the right way? The ghouls are multiplying by the second. With a crackle of raw energy, the duo launches a desperate, high-stakes counterattack against the looming beast. Sparks fly as they push their powers to the absolute limit in a battle for survival. With adrenaline surging, he readies his glowing blade to shield his trembling partner from the encroaching danger. The tension is palpable as they stand their ground against the unknown. The path should lead to the exit, but the situation is changing. Turns out the enemies know exactly where they're heading, too. This isn't just a random swarm. There's a necromancer pulling the strings. His sixth sense kicks into overdrive, warning him of the danger ahead. He feels the gaze of the puppet master. Someone is controlling these monsters from the shadows. A devastating strike slams into the ground, unleashing a shockwave of raw, purple energy. The impact shatters the silence as pure power ripples outward. The dungeon boss has decided to grace them with his presence. An ominous, suffocating aura descends as bloodthirsty monsters corner their prey. The tension shatters in a heartbeat. The team unleashes a massive, glowing magic circle to trap their prey. A sudden, deafening impact leaves them stunned in their tracks. The hunters gasp in horror. Is that really magic? It's a full-blown magical trap. He screams for everyone to get out of the circle before they're vaporized. A sudden, chilling realization hits as those monstrous, bandaged fingers snap into action. The tension spikes. There's no turning back now. The hunters surge forward, their spears charged with crackling violet energy. With lethal precision, they launch a high-speed strike at their unsuspecting target. Seo Yul orders his teammate to leave him behind and save themselves. A heavy blow lands, and he gasps in pain as the trap takes hold. The strike lands with lethal precision, leaving his opponent no room to breathe. One lightning-fast move turns the tide of battle in an instant. He curses under his breath. His speed is being drained. Ding! Movement speed is restricted. Oh great, a system debuff right when he needs to run. He struggles against the weight of the curse. He tries to reach for his partner, desperate to pull them to safety. He yells for them to stay back. It's too dangerous. He tells Section Chief Li Han to take the others and run. He refuses to be the reason everyone dies today. A cold sweat breaks as he realizes he's completely outmatched. The trap has finally snapped shut. The tension reaches a breaking point as he grits his teeth in pure, unadulterated fury. Something is about to snap. The tension spikes as he freezes in his tracks. A lethal showdown awaits right before his very eyes. He refuses to play the victim. He has absolutely no intention of dying here. Surrounded by bloodthirsty beasts, our hero stands his ground as raw, crackling mana surges beneath his feet. The trap is set, and the hunt is about to begin. He calls out the boss. He knew they were being toyed with from the very beginning. The monster reveals his name, Caracal. Caracal, the dungeon boss, looms over them. Caracal admits he's impressed. He didn't expect them to navigate the temple with such precision. Seo Yul tries to bargain for his life, dangling the secret of his knowledge like bait. The boss gives a cold, calculated response. Fine, he'll just turn him into a ghoul instead. Talk about a bad customer service experience. He can just extract the information from his corpse later, right? Pure, crackling energy surges through his hand. ready to unleash devastating power. The atmosphere sizzles as a dangerous, volatile force awakens. Dark, volatile energy erupts with destructive force. The fabric of reality begins to tear as an overwhelming power surges forth. The system warning flashes. He's cursed, and his vitality is plummeting fast. Pure, unbridled rage consumes him as he unleashes a terrifying surge of power. He's breaking his limits and descending into total madness. Was the bravado just a waste of breath? He wonders if asking for help would have changed his fate. But no, he couldn't do that. He couldn't stoop to the level of those greedy guild hunters. In a world crawling with hunters who only care about the paycheck, he remembers the hero who saved him once. He whispers an apology to those he couldn't reach. He remembers the hunter who wept because he couldn't save everyone. He wanted to be just like that bureau hunter, a protector of the weak, someone who truly cared. He refuses to give up. He will not die here. He triggers his skills. Silent Wave, Sixth Sense, and Synesthesia all at once. The warrior unleashes a devastating surge of raw lightning, obliterating his foes in a single, electrifying strike. Nothing remains but the crackle of absolute destruction. The ancient seal shatters as raw, crackling energy rips through the hidden ruins. A gateway to the unknown has finally been torn wide open. He scours the ruins for anything. A weapon, a map, a miracle. Any small possibility is better than none. A surge of overwhelming power ignites his eyes. The battlefield trembles as his true strength finally awakens. He finds a monument glowing with an eerie, rhythmic light. What could this possibly be? The system chimes in. He has discovered literature regarding a hidden class. A hidden class. His heart skips a beat. The boss mocks his desperate struggle. He offers to put him to ease permanently. Surrounded by bloodthirsty beasts, our hero stands his ground in the heart of a lethal trap. With death closing in from every side, he prepares to unleash a devastating counterattack. The system presents an offer. Change his class to the hidden class, Labyrinth Designer? He's stunned by the sudden choice. A devastating impact shatters the earth as raw, purple energy slams into the ground. The sheer force of the collision sends debris flying in every direction. With eyes locked on the target, he unleashes a blistering, high-speed strike. The monster doesn't stand a chance against this lethal, glowing assault. He's got nothing to lose now. It's all or nothing. He's going for broke. He accepts the offer without hesitation. The class advancement quest begins. The system confirms his acceptance. The tutorial is officially underway. He's completely bewildered by the sudden shift. What exactly is happening to him? He cries out, wondering what kind of game this is. Where did the boss go? The battlefield is suddenly empty. He's left wondering where in the world he actually is. His profile updates. Level 10, Class, Labyrinth Designer in progress. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. His original class is gone. Did he actually reawaken? If his theory is right, he's standing in the tutorial area. This is definitely the tutorial area. The quest is clear. Use the map to wipe out 20 ghouls in 24 hours or face the penalty of nullification. He understands the mission, but he's still scratching his head about the map function. He stares at the screen in pure confusion. What on earth is he looking at? It's a map, and honestly, for once, the system isn't trying to make his brain explode with complexity. He spots his own position marked by a clear green dot. And those red dots scattered across the map? Those are definitely the ghouls he's hunting. He realizes he can use this tracker to wipe them all out in under 24 hours. Most people would call that impossible, but for a seasoned searcher, it's just a Tuesday. He takes a deep breath, steeling his nerves for the chaos ahead. It's time to get to work. A chilling mist floods the mysterious corridor, concealing a deadly secret lurking within the shadows. Darkness closes in as an eerie, supernatural pressure grips the air. A nightmarish beast lunges with a blood-curdling roar. Its razor-sharp fangs are ready to tear everything to shreds. With a blinding flash, He drives his blade deep into the monster's hide. The impact shatters the silence as he delivers a crushing blow. His level jumps to 204. Only 4 ghouls left, and he's down to his last 30 minutes. For left, he's closing in on the finish line. He needs to pick up the pace. He's hunting, not taking a stroll through the park. He decides it's time to stop holding back and use his full arsenal. A colossal eye pierces the digital void, unleashing a lethal rain of red energy upon the structure below. The system is crashing, and nowhere is safe from this overwhelming power. He plans to thin out the herd of ghouls using every trick in his book. 14 ghouls remain, and he has 16 hours left on the clock. 10 ghouls down, 11 hours to go. Things are moving fast. A terrifying spectral beast manifests before his eyes, radiating pure malice. The hunt is on, and there's no turning back now. Sinister red crystals materialize out of thin air, locking the grid in a deadly trap. There's no turning back now. The system has officially gone rogue. An eerie, suffocating silence descends as dread fills the air. The atmosphere thickens with impending doom. With a cold, lethal gaze, he wipes the blood from his lip. The hunt is officially on. A nightmare incarnate tears through the battlefield, its razor-sharp maw dripping with blood. This monstrous beast is here to feast on anything in its path. He lets out a weary sigh. This is getting ridiculous. A bloodthirsty beast emerges from the shadows, locking its glowing eyes onto its prey. The hunt is on, and there's nowhere left to run. He smirks, thanking the creature for literally throwing its life away. The ground trembles as monstrous claws slam down with lethal precision. There's no escaping the predator closing in. He curses the sneaky bastard under his breath, wondering how he missed this one. He never expected this monster to join the pack so quickly. He kicks himself for not checking the map more carefully. He was in such a rush that he walked right into a worst-case scenario. Those piercing golden eyes lock onto the target with lethal intent. There's nowhere left to hide. He ignores the intrusive advertisements floating in his peripheral vision. The board erupts in a deadly tactical display as the pieces clash in a high-stakes duel. Every move is a calculated strike, setting the stage for total annihilation. He prepares for an explosive encounter. The air reeks of blood and impending doom. He readies his weapon, eyes locked on the target. He screams at the void, refusing to roll over and die like a coward. His silent wave and sixth sense skills trigger simultaneously, linking his mind to the battlefield. He challenges the beast to come and get him if it can. He discovers a new technique called spin block, bridging the gap between his sixth sense and the map. The air crackles with raw energy as he prepares to unleash a desperate, last-ditch strike. He's locked in, ready to defy the odds and break through the digital wall. The system confirms he can now execute the spin block maneuver through his map interface. The trap snaps shut as the hero barely dodges a lethal blast of raw energy. With his blade drawn and reflexes sharp, he stares down the danger head-on. The prompt repeats. He is now authorized to use spin block through the map. He stares in shock as the interface glitches into a mess of digital static. He whispers the word to himself, spin! Spin? Is that really the secret to all this? A nightmare unleashed. These razor-clawed beasts descend from the shadows, hungry for blood. The monstrous beast lunges with lethal intent, unleashing a blinding surge of raw, destructive energy. Numbers flash across his vision in a frantic, illegible blur. He finally understands how to utilize the system properly. This is going to make hunting these things a whole lot easier. A glitch in reality tears through the air. The target is being erased into digital dust. The dungeon depths erupt as these monstrous beasts close in for the kill. With glowing eyes and razor-sharp claws, they're ready to tear through everything in their path. Our hero strikes with lightning speed, leaving the snarling beasts in his lethal wake. He turns the tables in a heartbeat, vanishing before they even know what hit them. Surging with crackling lightning, he plunges his blade deep into the monster's hide. The beast doesn't stand a chance against such raw, electric fury. He moves with the precision of a master surgeon, only with more stabbing. A terrifying monstrosity lunges from the shadows, hungry for blood. The hunt is on, and nowhere is safe. He unleashes a final, devastating blow. A monstrous beast lunges forward, its eyes glowing with murderous intent. Nothing can stop this creature's terrifying, lightning-fast assault. His combat stats spike as the system struggles to keep up with his pace. The beast lunges forward with terrifying speed, shattering the stillness of the room. A single explosive step and the hunt begins. Just one more bastard to go. Lightning crackles as our hero delivers a bone-shattering blow. One strike is all it takes to bring this nightmare beast to its knees. Pure, unadulterated power erupts as a bone-crushing impact shatters the air. The intensity is off the charts. A monstrous beast strikes with bone-crushing force, crackling with lethal electrical energy. The dungeon trembles as the creature unleashes a devastating, electrified blow. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. An explosive surge of raw power erupts as their eyes ignite with blinding intensity. The battlefield shudders under the weight of this overwhelming awakening. A blinding surge of raw energy erupts, tearing through the air with lethal intensity. The battlefield is engulfed in a flash of pure, crackling destruction. He bellows in defiance, demanding to know if they really thought he'd roll over and die. The message pops up in bold letters. Tutorial complete. Class changed to Labyrinth Designer. He receives his reward, the King of the Labyrinth skill. Now, all those ghouls he defeated will serve as his own personal army. The system asks if he wants to return to safety. The tutorial is officially over. A voice cries out for the section chief. He tells them to calm down. They need to head back and think things through, though the others are desperate to go back and save him. He points out the obvious. The gate is gone, so how exactly do they plan on finding Senior Seo-yeol? He stops in his tracks, startled by the sudden confrontation. He looks at them with a mixture of annoyance and confusion. Why are they so angry? The junior looks at him, eyes wide with disbelief. Is that really the senior? He suggests they grab ice cream and call it a day. He's exhausted. The city streets bustle with life as unsuspecting crowds go about their day, oblivious to the drama unfolding in the shadows. He activates his new sphere skill, the air around him distorting. He realizes he'll be using this sphere skill quite a lot to trap enemies outside the labyrinth. The skill is rank 5, allowing him to force enemies into his labyrinth. He notes a warning. Bosses who escape become significantly stronger. He'll have to be careful. The sphere is invisible to others, making it the perfect trap, but he has to use it wisely. He reviews his stats. The labyrinth durability is at 143/150. He needs to fill it with more monsters before it dissipates. Our hero delivers a brutal, lightning-infused strike straight into the beast's core. With a deafening crack, he obliterates the monster in one savage move. With a cold gaze and a clenched fist, he ignites his lethal energy. The battle is about to explode. He pauses, caught off guard by a sudden interruption. He offers Yun-hee some apples, trying to keep things normal. She asks if he's coming back from the boss's shop, thanking him for the food and mentioning her mom wanted her to deliver it. He asks if it's really okay to take so much, and she explains they always have leftovers anyway, it's just neighborly affection. He shifts the conversation, asking how school has been lately. She sighs, her expression turning somber. She admits that school life is just as monotonous as ever. A frantic group screams to be let in, desperate to escape the unfolding horror. They plead for help, begging for their friend Somi. The elegant boutique hotel stands silent, hiding the danger within. It doesn't look like a fire. He realizes with a sinking feeling that it's a dungeon break. A volatile rift tears through reality, crackling with menacing violet energy. The gateway to chaos has officially opened. He apologizes to Yun-hee, saying he has to take those apples later. Duty calls. He has work to do for the rescue department. The crowd erupts in a frenzy as authorities scramble to contain the chaos. Tension is mounting, and something big is about to go down. A guard tries to stop him, telling him he can't just walk in there on his own. He flashes his badge. He's with the rescue department. The guard is skeptical, noting that the rest of the team hasn't arrived yet, but he insists on going in regardless. He pushes past the barricades, his resolve hardening. They warn him that a pack of red goblins is inside the hotel, making it a suicide mission. He tells them that's exactly why he's going in. It's too dangerous to wait. They mention a young child is still trapped inside. He notes the lack of guild hunters and decides he's the only one who can step up. He smiles grimly. He's never truly alone, thanks to his new powers. The stage is set and the tension is palpable as our protagonist strides toward his destiny. There's no turning back now. The real fight begins the moment he steps through those doors. The screen flickers with a link to the original chapter. The lone warrior stands tall amidst a sea of carnage. He's left a trail of broken bodies in his wake, and the slaughter is only just beginning. His sixth sense triggers, alerting him to an impending ambush. He yells at the hidden monsters to come out. He's looking for a test subject. A blur of blinding speed tears through the air. The strike lands with lethal precision. Ambushed by bloodthirsty demons, our hero remains ice-cold as death closes in from every angle. He doesn't even flinch while the monsters launch their lethal assault. He scoffs, noting that goblins should at least try to act like monsters. He begins generating his sphere skill. Reality shatters as a massive, swirling void tears through the air. Gravity defies all logic, pulling everything into the abyss. The monster is sent flying in a blur of motion, completely blindsided by an overwhelming force. Pure chaos erupts as the beast is sent crashing through the air. The hero unleashes a devastating void blast, tearing through the demonic horde with unstoppable force. One by one, the monsters are ruthlessly obliterated by his overwhelming power. With a single, explosive strike, he shatters the fabric of space. The battlefield erupts as his raw power tears through reality itself. The portal tears open, revealing a deadly squad lying in wait. Our protagonist peers into the rift, ready to face the chaos on the other side. Another link flashes on the screen for the readers at home. He wonders if this is the true master of the labyrinth. He identifies the enemy, a one-star red goblin. He knows their tactics. They move in a pack centered around a leader, but they're not much smarter than average goblins. A monstrous beast lunges from the shadows, ready to tear its prey apart. The warrior stands firm, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. The impact rings out like a thunderclap. The savage monsters launch a coordinated aerial assault. Death looms from above as the beast prepares to strike. He shakes his head. That's not going to cut it. The shadows erupt as the beast lunges, catching its prey in a lethal ambush. There is no time to react. The slaughter has already begun. The beast slams its target into the wall with bone-crushing force. There's absolutely no escape from this brutal onslaught. A single, bone-crushing kick sends the beast flying. The impact is absolutely devastating. He checks the scan site link again, unfazed by the carnage. He calls them out on their cheap tricks, noting the status of his labyrinth. 14 ghouls and 18 goblins. They're getting too comfortable in his domain. He likes that the ghouls are auto-hunting, but things are getting complicated. With the number of goblins rising, he needs to stay alert as he advances. After all, inside his labyrinth, the rules are his to make. They don't realize it yet, but they aren't the hunters, they're the prey. He marks his progress, eyes cold and calculating. The system displays the current prestige level and floor data. The room stands in eerie, suffocating silence. A storm is brewing in the shadows of this empty luxury suite. The creak of the door shatters the silence, forcing her to stifle a terrified sob. Frozen in the shadows, she prays she hasn't been discovered. He tells her not to worry anymore. He's taken care of everything. He stands victorious, the master of his own dark design. The young man is stunned, asking if he really soloed all those goblins. Our hero shrugs it off with a casual, "Of course." The score is 1,202. Looks like he's grinding points like a pro gamer on a sugar high. A stray ad appears in the wild. Don't let the marketing goblins distract you from the action. A sinister darkness erupts from the gateway, shattering the silence with pure, malevolent power. Something terrifying is about to break through. The screen glitches out. Looks like the Matrix is having a midlife crisis. A system warning blares. Over half the labyrinth's guards have been turned into monster dust. Oops. The elevator dings, signaling a high-stakes arrival at the 17th floor. The tension spikes as the doors prepare to slide open. Who or what is waiting on the other side? He tells his companion the elevator is fixed, but the guy is hesitant to leave his side. Talk about clingy. Our hero has a date with destiny, or rather, a date with the last remaining bad guy. He narrows his eyes, finally identifying the mastermind behind all this chaos. The Red Goblin King appears, looking like he's ready to throw the world's worst party. The warrior unleashes a blazing whirlwind of destruction, cutting down the encroaching monsters in a single, lethal strike. No beast can withstand the raw power of his fiery blade. The atmosphere shatters as his predator gaze locks onto the target. There's nowhere left to hide from those chilling golden eyes. With a piercing glare and a flick of his wrist, he activates his mysterious interface. The game has officially begun. Another ad interrupts the carnage. The hustle never stops, even in the middle of a dungeon. He watches the destruction in awe. Even he's impressed by his own handiwork. Seeing the aftermath in person, he confirms. That monster got absolutely wrecked. The monster lunges with lethal intent, but our hero stands unfazed as his power begins to surge. One wrong move means death, yet he doesn't even break a sweat. He orders the enemy to stop bothering his precious ghouls. Priorities, people. A massive stone barrier erupts from the ground, glowing with raw, arcane power. The trap is set, and there's no turning back now. He commands the enemy to step into his range. It's a bold move. Let's see if it pays off. The air grows heavy with human scent. Things are about to get messy. The enemy screams a death threat, but our hero just looks bored. With a cold, piercing gaze, he locks onto his target. The battlefield is about to turn deadly. The savage demon lunges with a lethal blade, but our hero dances through the strike with effortless precision. A hair's breadth is all that separates life from death in this blazing clash. He notes his fatigue is fading. It's amazing what a little leveling up can do for one's stamina. He checks his new status. He has officially awakened as a labyrinth designer. His stats look juicy. Level 247, and he's holding on to 30 gold. Talk about a glow-up. Originally, he just wanted to test the waters with his ghouls, but he's feeling bold now. He realizes he might actually be able to solo this whole thing. Why share the experience points? The monstrous demon lunges with a lethal blade, forcing our hero into a desperate, high-stakes clash. Sparks fly as they collide in a brutal display of raw power. A sudden shout. The name, Kirk, echoes through the chamber. The chaos intensifies as he maneuvers through the fray. The volume hits 10 out of 10. It's getting loud in here. A single, bone-crushing blow sends the enemy spiraling into the shadows. The fight just went from 0 to lethal in a heartbeat. He moves like a blur, shattering the ground with sheer speed. There's no escaping the strike of this lethal predator. He thanks his opponent for the positioning. He's literally thanking the guy he's about to kill. That's cold. He taunts his enemy, questioning if he can even lift his sword anymore. The positioning is perfect. Everything is going exactly according to his twisted plan. He mocks the enemy's lost momentum. If you're going to be a villain, at least do it with some energy. He mentions he's invested 2 million won in this guy. He expects a high-quality show for that price. He tells the king that if he wants to be a ruler, he'd better act like one. He mocks the beast. Maybe he isn't a king after all? He leans in close, asking the burning question, "Are you scared of me?" The beast unleashes a primal roar, his eyes burning with uncontrollable, hellish rage. Total destruction is the only thing on his mind. A roar tears through the room. Soundproof walls would be a great investment right about now. The monster swears to kill him, but our hero is just checking if he's getting his money's worth. He's been waiting for this moment. Let's see what this monster can really do. The berserker erupts with pure, unadulterated rage, slamming into the battlefield like a living cannonball. Nothing can stand in the way of this lethal, fire-breathing force of destruction. A thunderous blow rocks the ground as heavy chains lock into place. There is no escaping this trap now. Death arrives in a whirlwind of fire as the hulking beast lunges for the kill. Our protagonist stands paralyzed before the monster's lethal, glowing claws. A final, mocking goodbye echoes through the chamber. Despite his battered face, he flashes a chilling, predatory grin that spells nothing but trouble. The calm in those golden eyes is far more dangerous than the fight he just survived. The trap is activated. Ceiling spikes are coming down to turn this into a giant shish kebab. A sudden, violent strike tears through the darkness. The air itself shatters under the weight of this brutal blow. With a single, effortless motion, he cleaves his enemy in two. The battlefield ignites as his foe is incinerated in a flash of brutal power. Massive, ominous chains descend from the darkness to seal this ancient, crumbling chamber. Something terrifying is about to be unleashed. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. He's crunching numbers. Money is the only language that matters in this dungeon. He remarks that the show was so good he almost feels sorry for the guy who got killed. Almost. Level up. The dopamine hit of a system notification is truly universal. The defeated red goblins are now officially part of his labyrinth. He's collecting minions like trading cards. He sighs. Saving the world is exhausting work. A voice calls out to him, "Hey, Co Yul." The section chief arrives, furious about his solo escapades. Someone's in trouble. The chief demands the truth about the goblins. But our hero plays the "I hit my head and forgot everything" card. Classic move. The chief isn't buying it, but our hero suggests a bribe of beef. Everyone has a price. A polite stranger interrupts, representing the Hanul Guild. Quan Sung Soon introduces himself, looking for a private word. Co Yul grants him the audience. Let's hear what he has to say. He starts with a thank you, though we know he's just here to talk business. He wants to get straight to the point. No small talk allowed. He asks our hero to skip the interviews. Reputation management is key for these guys. The guild doesn't want the truth getting out. Fear is bad for the real estate market, apparently. They're offering a generous sponsorship if he keeps his mouth shut. Money talks. He realizes the game being played. It's dirty, but at least it's profitable. The fiery S-rank powerhouse looms supreme, while his opponent is shattered in total defeat. The gap in power is absolutely undeniable. A cocky challenger steps into the spotlight with a grin, ready to stir up trouble. The tension skyrockets as he locks eyes with his unimpressed rival. A surge of pure rage erupts as his knuckles turn white from the crushing grip. He's ready to snap. He agrees with a smile. Everyone has a price and he's happy to be bought. He never really cared about making a scene anyway. He knows the association would just bury the story regardless. Might as well get paid. However, he's not done negotiating yet. He wonders how much they're willing to cough up for his silence. He decides to be perfectly frank about his demands. He asks for a massive sponsorship. He's got expenses, after all. With a chilling smirk and glowing golden eyes, he looms over his target. The intimidation is palpable as he grips his prey, sealing their fate. He asks if they can handle that. The answer is a resounding yes. While the old men plot in the shadows of the gazebo, our hero keeps his pace, completely unaware of the looming threat. The battle might be over, but he's staying cool under pressure with an icy sip. Even with bandages on his face, he remains unfazed and ready for what comes next. After the smoke clears, our hero finally catches a rare moment of peace. Sipping his drink with a charming grin, he's never looked more dangerous. The tension is palpable as the panicked man makes a desperate call while being cornered by two imposing figures. There's no escape now, the trap has officially snapped shut. The gossip mill is turning. Everyone is whispering about the solo goblin clearer. The news is out. The labyrinth designer has arrived, and the large guilds are scrambling to recruit him. Another system panel flashes. The world is just a giant spreadsheet for this guy. He's calculating repair costs. Being a landlord is way more expensive than he thought. Gold is leaving his account faster than he can earn it. Those monsters aren't cheap. Gold is the universal currency, and he is currently very, very broke. 53 gold for repairs? That's almost double his salary. The audacity of these repair prices. He clicks yes. It hurts, but he's got to keep the dungeon looking nice. Next on the to-do list, everything. His phone rings on his day off. The universal sign of a bad day. He tells the surveillance department grunt to get lost, but they never listen. They're pestering him to use his seeker skills. Can a guy get a break? Lee Jong-hai surveillance department is on the line. She sounds like a headache. The tension spikes as she hangs up the phone, her cold, piercing gaze locking onto her next target. Silence has never felt this dangerous. The notification for Seo Yul pops up. The hunt is on. He wonders if he really needs to respawn all those monsters. Maybe he can save some cash. He decides to save the gold and just handle things himself if it comes down to it. If he were to respawn them, well, it's a thought for another day. He tells the lady to find the person herself, but she's offering beef. Okay, maybe he's listening. Who the hell is she anyway? The world freezes as a sudden, ominous notification stops him dead in his tracks. Whatever he just saw, there's no turning back now. He really wants to see the guy in person just once. He's confident he'll find him in no time. The game is afoot. A tranquil morning sun bathes the lush garden in golden light. Peace settles over the estate. But for how long? Someone made a bad move, and the consequences are immediate. He's yelling at an old geezer to switch to a game of Baduk. A sudden surge of intensity flares in his golden eyes, piercing through the calm. Something has caught his attention, and he's ready to strike. An overwhelming, sinister aura erupts from within, shattering the silence. The true nightmare has finally been unleashed. With eyes burning like molten gold, he stares down his next target. The gears are turning, and someone is about to pay the price. He's looking at the guy, thinking he looks like a mountain man. The old guy asks if he can play jangi. He claims to know a bit, but we know he's a shark in sheep's clothing. He offers a suggestion: move the chariot. He's already winning the game. Sixth sense activated. He's seeing the board in ways the old man can't even imagine. With a flash of lightning speed, he dodges the lethal strike by a hair's breadth. The battlefield is heating up and he isn't holding anything back. A lightning-fast strike shatters the air. The target is caught completely off guard by the sudden, explosive impact. The numbers flicker on the screen, counting down to 0. He says he can ignore people with hidden motives, but he's lying through his teeth. Don't forget to check the chapter at the link. The author needs to eat too. A terrifying elite force gathers, revealing the overwhelming power of one of Korea's only 5 S-rank hunters. He's reflecting on a hunter who once said something legendary. He turns any object he touches into a deadly instrument of destruction. Absolute chaos follows his every move. But he's reaching his limit. He's done with the backseat driving. It's time to take the wheel. The old master unleashes a suffocating aura of pure malice. His crushing power is about to shatter everything in his path. Someone cries out, "Master!" in sheer terror. The air is thick with tension as everything goes south. He asks the killer question, "Were you with the surveillance department?" She confirms her identity as a seeker with the rescue department. She's got a big mouth for a guide. Having too many talents is definitely a curse. She'd be fine if she just knew when to stay quiet. "Long time no see," she says, but the vibe is anything but friendly. The trainees are waiting, so it's time to head back to base. She's suspicious. How did he find someone the surveillance department couldn't? He claims he's just that good, and tells her to forget about the beef. She demands to know where he's going, calling him an arrogant brat. He's a bureau hunter now, so he's got to follow the chain of command, or ignore it entirely. The colossal skyscraper pierces the sky, hiding secrets behind its gleaming glass facade. Shadows loom as the stage is set for an epic confrontation. The lecture begins with a cold, hard truth. Every awakened is bound by the shackles of their maximum capacity. It's a cruel fate. A C-rank hunter is destined to remain a C-rank, no matter how much they bleed or sweat. But wait, the system isn't perfect, because martial arts defy simple numbers and rigid calculations. That's the loophole. Mastery over weapons can break the limits that the system tries to impose. And that is exactly why the Bureau hunters have been summoned here today. Our protagonist's mind is elsewhere, desperate to check on the labyrinth he left behind. On Siwoo, a nervous wreck from the surveillance department, reports that he's been training for exactly 4 months. The whispers start, is that really one of the rare B ranks from surveillance? The master acknowledges his potential, and the poor guy is practically shaking with gratitude. The master shifts gears, eyes narrowing as he prepares a test that will determine their fate. He demands to know what is truly required to wield a sword with absolute perfection. The student confidently claims it's all about raw strength and mastering the technical skills. The old master's gaze turns ice-cold as he stares down his opponent. A deadly silence descends before the storm. He turns his piercing glare toward the arrogant brat standing in the back. The kid doesn't even hesitate, claiming the secret is simply the will to swing the blade. The crowd is baffled. Is this kid even a trainee? He's acting way too cocky for his own good. The master challenges his nonchalant attitude, demanding to know if he's truly confident in that answer. The S-rank is clearly impressed. He knows a sharp mind when he sees one. He calls out the brat's arrogance, but there's a flicker of recognition in his eyes. He drops the bomb. The kid is actually correct. The brat is stunned, barely managing a thank you. Pure rage boils over as he grits his teeth in a display of sheer, unbridled fury. The line has been crossed, and there's no turning back now. The other trainee is losing his mind. How can a non-trainee be given such praise? The master scoffs, dismissing the trainee like a tantrum-throwing child. He announces that qualifications are all that matter, and he's decided to test them both right now. He offers them a chance to prove their worth, but it comes with a high-stakes ultimatum. The trainee is terrified, practically begging to back out of the deal. The master taunts him. Is he really going to walk away from this opportunity? He reveals the true price of passing, becoming his official disciple. The weight of those words hits the room like a lightning bolt. An S-rank's disciple. The white-haired warrior readies his arsenal as a blood-red aura engulfs the battlefield. The slaughter is about to begin. The master mocks the brat, finally seeing a spark of motivation in his eyes. With his back turned and a heavy aura of secrets, he stands poised for a silent, calculated move. The tension is palpable as he hides his next step from the world. A crushing grip locks them in place. There's no escaping this ironclad hold. He bellows the name Emortans as the energy spikes. He explains the rules. The test is deceptively simple. They must use the skills he's about to bestow to shatter the ether stone before them. Whoever does the most damage earns the title of disciple. The ether stone, a legendary relic only found in ancient temples. Rumor has it that only the strongest of the strong can even put a dent in one. The surveillance team is reeling. What does he mean by inheriting his skills? The mystery deepens as the energy begins to swell. With eyes glowing like lethal embers, he grips his weapon and readies for the chaos to come. The calm before the storm just shattered. He declares that the transfer is beginning. He warns them. If they don't feel the power, they've already failed. The air grows heavy as the ritual commences. A terrifying surge of crimson energy erupts, leaving everyone frozen in absolute shock. The battlefield is engulfed in a raw, overwhelming power that screams pure danger. The system pings, the aura of a weapon master has been detected. The pressure is suffocating. It's a miracle they haven't passed out from the sheer weight of his presence. Their consciousness is slipping, fading into the abyss of his aura. But then, a moment of clarity. It's finally becoming visible to them. A celestial spear pierces the tranquil surface, shattering the night's silence with raw, magical power. The protagonist stands frozen as an otherworldly weapon descends from the heavens. A legendary weapon materializes from the ether, crackling with raw, celestial power. The battlefield trembles as this divine spear announces its arrival. The system confirms it. Skill acquired, serene mind, and Dragon King spearmanship are now theirs. The master observes their reactions with a knowing smirk. They should be proud. Most people would have been crushed into dust by now. Usually, the average person feels absolutely nothing. And the ones who do feel it, they're usually carried away on a stretcher. The master signals that it's time to move on. The moment of truth arrives. Who will step up first? With a sharp, decisive grip, he locks his hand onto the hilt. The blade is drawn, and the battle begins. The tension reaches a fever pitch as the test gets underway. He vows to crush his rival's spirit and make them regret ever showing up. The brat fires back, calling out his opponent's pathetic attempt at intimidation. He questions how a D-rank could possibly handle the skill transfer, accusing him of bribing his way in. Only strength will decide the winner today, and he's ready to prove it. A surge of raw, explosive power rips through the air. The atmosphere shatters as a devastating technique is unleashed. With a single, thunderous strike, he shatters the defenses of his enemy. The battlefield erupts as raw power collides with pure force. The onlookers are stunned. The ether stone was pulverized like it was made of glass. The master is impressed. It seems he's actually mastered the technique. The air crackles with residual energy. The senior tries to reclaim his authority, but he's clearly shaken by the display. The junior hits back. If all you do is read the room, you'll never survive in this world. The master shuts them down, signaling that it's finally time for the next candidate. He knows the senior has more raw power, but he's not backing down. This isn't just about strength anymore, it's about his own conviction. The final test of character is about to be revealed. He admits his earlier answer was half-hearted, but now he knows exactly what he stands for. He prepares to strike, his resolve hardened like steel. He asks himself the ultimate question. Why does he even bother wielding a weapon? Bloodied and battered, he unleashes a crackling, lightning-infused strike to shatter his monstrous foe. The hunter refuses to yield, putting everything into one final, bone-crushing blow. The answer is clear. He wants to become just like the man standing before him. Under the pouring rain, a single tear betrays his stoic mask as he reaches out in a moment of pure, heartbreaking vulnerability. The weight of his hidden sorrow finally comes crashing down, because there are so many people he wants to protect. The fighter unleashes a devastating, crackling strike. Pure power erupts as his glowing blade tears through the air. He aims to become something even greater than he is right now. The Dragon Flame Heart technique activates, piercing through the silence. Absolute terror grips the room as an unthinkable nightmare unfolds before their eyes. They can only watch in frozen horror as their world is shattered. The master's gaze turns cold as death. A single look from those crimson eyes spells absolute doom for his enemies. The onlookers can only scream. What kind of monster have they just witnessed? He offers a mocking apology to the senior he just outperformed. He asks if he can take his place, his confidence radiating off him. The master drops the final lesson. Weapons are just tools, but knowing yourself is the key to true power. The decision is made. The kid is officially his new disciple. He offers his humble thanks, the weight of the moment sinking in. The lone warrior stands his ground, staring down an entire mob ready for blood. The tension is explosive, and only one side is walking away. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The thugs are gloating, clearly enjoying the misery they've caused. They laugh about how their classmate, Yonhee, suffered because she didn't know her place. They wonder if it was really worth it to try and be a hero. They mock her for getting involved with someone as dangerous as Jin-tae. The mask slips as his eyes burn with cold, calculated malice. Pure, unadulterated madness takes hold. She's had enough, and that icy glare says it all. Someone is about to face the wrath of her absolute fury. They taunt her. What exactly does she think she can do now? They isolate her, reminding her that she's completely alone with no one left to call for help. Her friend is in the hospital and she's next on the chopping block. Piercing eyes lock onto the target with lethal intent. The predator has finally stopped holding back. Her glare is only making them angrier, fueling their desire to hurt her. They promise that her defiance will only lead to more pain. The young master arrives right on schedule. He eyes the B-rank hunter with a predatory gaze. He orders his men to keep a tight leash on her so she doesn't try to bolt. He commands our protagonist to tag along as well. He asks where they're heading, though he already knows the answer won't be good. The young master leads them to a secluded spot where no one will hear them scream. A place where they can play as much as they want, undisturbed by the world. The sun sets over the city, casting a blood-red glow upon the towering skyscrapers. A dark storm is brewing, and the calm before the chaos is absolute. He's jealous, becoming an S-rank's disciple and getting a custom weapon to boot. He questions if the spear is really enough, but he's already made up his mind. A legendary golden spear manifests in his grip, radiating pure, unstoppable power. The battlefield is about to change forever. The system stats appear. Evolutionary Spear, Loga. It can grow alongside the user's will. He's annoyed that they're working overtime, wondering if the surveillance department ever sleeps. The guards try to bar the way, but they aren't stopping him today. He demands to see Supervisor Seo Yul, but the guards won't budge. He shouts that he wouldn't be here if the guy would just answer his phone. He calls out for his boss in a moment of desperation. He finds him, but something is clearly wrong. The news is catastrophic. Yeonhee is in grave danger. She's been dragged away to the Yellow Belt, a place of no return. A cold, calculated smirk curls across his lips. The game has officially begun. He demands to know who dared to take her. The atmosphere is thick with dread. Is it really safe to go this deep? That's why they brought the B-rank. They need the heavy artillery for what's coming. There's going to be a battle of monsters, and they're here to watch the carnage. The villain taunts his captive, telling her not to look so scared. The monsters are weak, baring teeth in a display of pure, unadulterated rage. He prepares to unleash his final blow. The tension reaches a breaking point as his fury ignites. Panic surges as she lunges forward in a desperate bid to escape. With enemies closing in, every second is a fight for survival. They move to intercept, closing the net around her. She's terrified, realizing that if she doesn't escape now, it's all over. A crushing blow lands as the boot slams down with absolute force. The confrontation begins with a devastating display of dominance. Her scream echoes through the desolate area. The villain laughs. No one is coming to save her in this godforsaken place. Death descends from above. A massive, razor-sharp blade looms over the unsuspecting group, ready to strike. Something is approaching, and the villains are starting to realize they might be in over their heads. The white-haired warrior strikes with lethal precision, carving a path through the enemy. His foes are sent flying in a desperate, chaotic retreat, a grunt of pain as the first line of defense crumbles. The young master realizes he's made a massive mistake as he scrambles to flee. A sharp, icy glare cuts through the tension. Something or someone has officially pushed them over the edge. The Stinghawks swarm the area, their wings buzzing like a death sentence. He thanks his companion for taking on such a wildly unreasonable request. He questions if this is the guy who sold out Yeonhee's location to the boss. Talk about a major red flag. He shrugs it off, claiming he was just filing a missing person report and has no idea why anyone would go in there alone. A warning rings out. Watch your back, Kang Jong-min. The Vanguard Department is on the move. He retorts that it's a little too late for anyone to be worrying about his health now. Looking around this hellhole, he decides this is officially the last place on Earth he'd want to call home. The heavy blast doors lock down as the alarm blares, signaling an immediate threat. Chaos is brewing behind the steel. Will they survive what's coming? He notes that the local monsters aren't actually all that strong. Now that he's face to face with them, He realizes they just rely on numbers. They feel weaker than simple red goblins. Still, an unawakened civilian wouldn't stand a chance here, so he has to reach Yonhee as fast as possible. Lethal shards pierce the air with blinding speed. No one is safe from this razor-sharp onslaught. The soldier narrowly dodges a lethal blast of dark energy. He's moving with lightning reflexes to stay alive in this deadly ambush. The combat log ticks down 9-0. A system notification flickers to life, generating a spear for the coming slaughter. He's tired of these things rushing him from the entrance and tells them to go ahead and call all their friends. He doesn't have time for this. A lethal ambush strikes from the shadows as the insectoid monster closes in. The hunter becomes the hunted in a lightning-fast blur of violence. The realization hits him that's a lot of incoming trouble. He stares at the horde and mutters, "Wow, that's a lot of friends, huh?" A swarm of lethal, red-eyed horrors descends with bloodthirsty intent. There's no escaping this razor-sharp onslaught. The hunter makes a desperate break for it as a swarm of deadly, razor-clawed insects closes in from behind. One wrong move means certain death in this high-stakes chase. Surrounded by a swarm of lethal insects, he unleashes a blinding, electrifying strike to carve his way out. One precise movement turns the tide as he slices through the encroaching nightmare. Eyes burning with lethal intent, he charges straight into the heart of danger. There's no turning back now. The system displays the labyrinth status. Ghouls, red goblins, and an overwhelming swarm of stinghawks are closing the distance. Our hero is outnumbered, outgunned, and probably out of patience. He sighs, admitting there are simply too many to handle on his own. In that case, it's time to change the game. He prepares his ultimate trump card for these pests. He turns to the swarm with a grin and asks, "Any of you like swimming?" The countdown hits 10. For the finishing touch, he readies his final move. He unleashes a massive water charge that floods the chamber. The water surges forward with unstoppable force. The monstrous insectoid hunters descend with lethal precision to claim their fallen prey. The trap is set, and there is nowhere left to hide. Monstrous insectoid beasts emerge from the shadows, their glowing red eyes locked onto their prey. Confusion turns to terror as these lethal predators close in for the kill. A lethal strike tears through the water, shattering the monsters in a spray of chaos. The battlefield erupts as these creatures are decimated in a single brutal blow. A violent surge of magical energy erupts, tearing through the environment. The sheer force of the blast leaves everything in its wake shattered. The toxic swarm emerges from the depths, hungry for blood. Hide your blade, because these monsters are closing in fast. He grumbles that restoring the labyrinth after this is going to be a massive pain in the gold. This is exactly why he didn't want to use this method. He pauses to catch his breath. At least it's finally quieted down around here. The dust begins to settle. He wonders just how far these things are going to chase them. He berates the B-rank hunter, screaming that he can't even handle a few bugs, forcing him to run for his life. He loses his temper, shouting at the useless B-rank hunter for getting them lost in this mess. A razor-sharp blade slices through the air with lethal speed. There's no escaping this deadly strike. He freezes, sensing something is wrong. Terror strikes as a gruesome sight stops them dead in their tracks. Paralyzed by fear, they watch in horror as blood sprays the air. A monstrous predator emerges from the shadows, its glowing red eyes locked onto its next victim. The hunt has officially begun. He screams a warning to the B-rank hunter that there are more of them up ahead. The ground shatters beneath them as they desperately scramble for safety. Terror grips the air as they are pulled into the abyss. He bellows in frustration, demanding that someone do something before they all die. The monstrous mantis strikes with lethal speed, narrowly missing its target in a blur of crimson carnage. Someone is about to have a very bad day. He looks up, trembling, and asks who his savior is. The mysterious figure identifies himself as a hunter from the Administration Bureau, calling the other man a bastard. He demands to know if they were the ones who dragged Yonhee into this nightmare. The thug stammers, asking again who he is. Yonhee cries out in relief. He checks on her, stunned because he's never seen her cry before. The thug shouts at the bureau hunter, trying to regain his composure. The thug offers a bribe, demanding to be shown the way out of this labyrinth immediately. Yeonhee begs him to ignore the jerk and just get them both out of there. He turns to Yeonhee, apologizing for the trouble. Things are about to get personal. He promises to finish this quickly and get her out, while the thug wonders what on earth he's doing. He doesn't even look up to answer the question. He coldly states he's about to do something Yeonhee shouldn't have to see. The thug snaps, swearing at him and asking if he knows who he's dealing with. The bureau hunter recognizes him immediately. Park Jin-tae, son of Supreme Court Justice Park Byum-jin. He lists the criminal's history: school bullying, theft, and drunk driving. He calls him out as a scumbag who buys his way out of every crime, asking what he's going to do about it now. A bone-crushing strike connects with devastating force. The impact sends shockwaves through the air as the enemy is sent flying. Pure terror paralyzes the thug as the unthinkable unfolds before his eyes. He's absolutely speechless. He sneers that the thug must have loved having money solve all his problems until now. But things have changed. He invites the thug to try and bribe his way out of this beating. A mysterious operative strikes with lethal speed, snatching his target right out of the shadows. There's no escaping this brutal ambush. With a flash of lethal precision, he cuts his enemy down in one decisive strike. The battlefield trembles as his blade carves through the chaos. He tells the thug that his bug hunt is officially over. The mysterious warrior locks eyes with his opponent, his face scarred but his gaze colder than ice. A dangerous confrontation is about to explode. The thug screams that he's a crazy bastard and that begging won't save him. He should just die with the girl. With a blur of blinding speed, he unleashes a lethal strike that leaves his foe nowhere to hide. The battlefield erupts in chaos as a single, devastating swing seals the enemy's fate. The silver-haired warrior lunges with lethal intent, his blade cutting through the air in a blur of motion. There's no escaping this razor-sharp strike. With a thunderous crack, he grips his weapon and launches into action. The hunt begins right now. With a lightning-fast strike, he slams his weapon down to crush the opposition. The battlefield erupts as his brutal assault catches his enemy off guard. He admits he was only planning to rough him up, but that plan is officially off the table. He asks the thugs if they really thought they could get away with trying to kill him first. Sparks fly as steel meets crackling energy in a lethal, high-speed clash. The battlefield erupts with power as these two warriors lock weapons in a desperate bid for dominance. The thug wonders why he's being pushed back by a mere bureau hunter, noting that if this guy were truly B-rank, he would have recognized him. He starts to question if this guy is actually a bureau hunter at all. He decides it doesn't matter who he is, as long as he's holding a spear. He readies his stance. He plans to close the distance and cut his opponent down. He realizes that if he steps in that close, he might be making a mistake. The hunter warns him that if he steps any closer, he'll have no choice but to throw a punch. A bone-shattering strike connects, sending the villain reeling. Absolute destruction in a single blow. A lightning-fast strike sends the enemy crashing to the ground. Our hero capitalizes on the opening with a lethal, decisive blow. He yells at the B-rank hunter to get up, wondering if he bought his rank with money. The thug asks in disbelief if that guy was actually a B-rank hunter. A devastating shockwave tears through the battlefield, sending foes flying in every direction. Nothing can withstand this overwhelming surge of raw power. The beatdown of a lifetime is currently in progress. The thug screams about being beaten by a lowly bureau hunter. He demands that the hunter wipe that smirk off his face. With a single, lightning-fast strike, he sends his opponent flying into the dirt. There's no mercy for those who cross his path. The thug lets out a pained gasp. He asks how it feels, noting that the people the thug tormented probably felt dozens of times more pain than this. The thug cries that if he had a problem with it, he should have just had more money or power. That's just how the world works. He sighs, deciding that a hopeless piece of trash like this really is better off not existing. The thug stammers, asking what he's planning to do, but the hunter tells him not to worry. He doesn't have the energy to make him suffer as much as he deserves. He turns his back on the pathetic criminal. He leaves the thug to be dealt with by those who are truly hungry. A monstrous claw slams down, forcing him into a desperate, heart-pounding defensive stance. Trapped and cornered, he braces for the fight of his life. A pack of shadow-infused beasts emerges from the darkness, hunting for their next kill. Their lethal purple glow signals that survival is no longer guaranteed. The thug screams in terror, begging them to stay back. He curses the hunter as the monsters descend. With blood-soaked beasts falling in his wake, he makes his daring escape while carrying the unconscious girl to safety. No monster can stand in his way when a life is on the line. The nightmare has finally come to an end. Yeonhee is finally reunited with the warmth of her family's embrace. The bureau tracks down the officials who let the criminal sneak into the yellow belt. A massive uproar is imminent. The story spreads like wildfire across the media, exposing the collusion between officials and the kidnapper. Heads are definitely going to roll. With the resignation of the Supreme Court Justice, the incident is finally laid to rest. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. A new mission appears on the interface. The system displays an extermination quest. Eliminate the Queen Hornet within 30 days to claim the Poison Sting Dagger and 100 gold. The soldier freezes in his tracks as a terrifying, spectral entity looms from the shadows. He has come face to face with an otherworldly nightmare. A terrifying monstrosity emerges from the shadows, its glowing eyes burning with pure, unadulterated malice. The beast is ready to tear through everything in its path. A blinding burst of raw energy erupts as the warrior launches a lethal, soul-shattering strike. The battlefield trembles under the weight of this overwhelming power. He stares at the prize and declares, "I want her." He notes that even regular hornets are strong enough to crush the labyrinth, so the queen must be an absolute nightmare. He informs the others that he has somewhere else to be and is heading out first. His superior loves the enthusiasm but reminds him to finish his paperwork before he takes off. Nothing stops the grind, not even saving the world. A sudden, thunderous slam shatters the silence. Someone is definitely making an entrance. A single, decisive step lands on the ground. The silence is shattered as the confrontation begins. It's time for some serious training. His instructor tells him that he's late. He commands him to enter. The training starts immediately. The golden sun sets over the ancient, imposing stronghold. A storm of secrets brews behind those silent palace walls. He asks in surprise if he's really a direct disciple. The instructor tells him not to get cocky. He has 2 people above him and a mountain of training to climb. He points to the object in front of them. He declares he's ready for the instructor, who praises the work done so far. The tension in the room is suffocating as he fixes his opponent with a lethal, piercing gaze. A single misstep could be his last. He asks his master for guidance. The master presents the jawbone of a unique monster called the Iron Fiend. He explains that it was the first monster to ever make him face his own death. He reveals that this is the training he must undergo this time. Someone in the distance screams for help. Sounds like our hero is about to have a very rough day. He sighs, knowing this is going to be one tough challenge. With a bone-shaking slam, he drives his fist into the training dummy. The sheer force of his strike echoes through the room. The onlookers are absolutely floored, wondering if their instructor is actually a legendary turtle ship in human form. He encourages his student to give it everything he's got, letting out a primal roar of approval. With a cold, piercing gaze, he grips his weapon and prepares to unleash absolute chaos. The hunt begins now. A short, sharp sound echoes through the air as the action intensifies. Eyes widen in total shock at the sudden, unexpected turn of events. They stand paralyzed in disbelief, stunned that the target didn't budge even an inch. He explains that this grueling training is essential to building total body strength, urging them to keep pushing their limits. He drops a cold ultimatum. There will be no more training until that jaw finally opens up. An unreadable expression crosses his face, leaving everyone guessing his next move. The realization hits the crowd. He only reached this level because of his connections. A lone traveler ascends the daunting stone steps, stepping into the heart of a mysterious sanctuary. The journey toward destiny begins now. With a sharp, calculating gaze, our hero steps into the fray completely unfazed. The calm before the storm has arrived. Tension hits a breaking point as a furious warrior lashes out in desperation. Our protagonist watches, cold and unshaken, as the chaos unfolds. The target is in sight, and he isn't backing down. Tensions rise as he prepares for the chaos ahead. A cheerful greeting breaks the silence as someone calls out to Gunsu. The news is delivered with a grin. He's officially landed in second place. He remarks on his rival's early arrival, even on a day off, and decides he should start showing up earlier too. He suggests they drop the formalities since he's the youngest, but his companion politely refuses to break the hierarchy. He shifts the conversation, asking if the dojo has been cleaned up. A humble confirmation follows. It was messy, so he took the initiative to tidy it up. A stern request is made. Please stop doing that, as it makes everyone else feel uncomfortable when a superior does the grunt work. He questions if they really need to split tasks by rank, wondering why everyone is so obsessed with the pecking order. He clarifies that he only helps when he has the time and wants to. He refuses to force his duties onto others just because of his status as a direct disciple. He reminds them that they all came here to succeed together, didn't they? His humble attitude is clearly rubbing someone the wrong way, as a rival seethes with pure, unadulterated annoyance. For 2 weeks straight, he's been the first one in and the last one to leave, putting everyone else to shame. Despite being a privileged direct disciple, he refuses to throw his weight around or bully the lower-ranked trainees. The training hall is dead silent, but our protagonist couldn't care less as he lets out a mocking, bored yawn. The tension is thick enough to cut with a blade, yet he treats this elite challenge like a nap time. He manages to get along with every single person in the room, making it even harder to hate him. He trains like an absolute madman, leaving his peers in the dust. His rival admits that this perfection is exactly why he's so furious, though he can't help but respect it. Despite the frustration, he secretly realizes that this is the kind of person he actually wants to become. The beast lunges with a bone-chilling roar, its jagged maw ready to tear through everything in its path. A cry of encouragement rings out. It was so close, he just needs to lift it a little higher. He lets out a confused sound, caught off guard by the sudden intensity. A warning is issued to Seo Yul. Don't overdo it or you'll burn out. He notes with a smirk how quickly they dropped the formal honorifics. The air grows heavy with anticipation as they prepare for the next phase. A low, horn-like sound vibrates through the area. It's the dreaded dispatch signal of the Overcross Guild. Rumors were true then. They really were entering the nearby dungeon at this very hour. He explains that Overcross works day and night due to their massive numbers, revealing he actually spent some time working for them himself. Deep in the heart of the ancient forest, a heavy silence hangs in the air. Something dangerous is lurking just out of sight. The air crackles with danger as an elite tactical squad emerges from the unstable rift. They've arrived and they mean business. He boasts that the job was finished in a single day, much faster than anyone anticipated. The mission objective is clear: capture the lethal Steelblood orc. He asks if capturing monsters is even standard procedure, but receives a bored yawn in response. Apparently it's not, but money talks. He lays out the cold, hard facts. Selling this guy is worth at least 12 billion, and salaries don't just grow on trees. He wonders aloud if an orc tribe necklace would also fetch a decent price. The beast bares its jagged, blood-stained fangs in a terrifying grin. Slaughter is imminent. His suggestion is shot down immediately. It's dirty and worthless, so stop asking silly questions. The beast's jaw cracks with bone-chilling force as blood drips from its razor-sharp fangs. Pure, unadulterated carnage is about to be unleashed. A crackling surge of raw energy tears through the air. The atmosphere shatters as a powerful force makes its explosive entrance. The tension spikes as the situation spirals out of control. The mission has gone sideways. As a volatile portal erupts, the squad scrambles to save their wounded comrades from the chaos. Since the heavy lifting is done, he suggests they pack up and head home. He plans to head straight to the Martial Arts Association, but his teammates insist he join them for a rare team dinner. He regretfully declines, the instructor is out, and he promised to look after the trainees. Total confusion reigns as a sudden alert flashes across the screens. An emergency broadcast goes out, requesting immediate backup from all teams. The situation is critical. An illegally transported 3-star boss monster has broken loose and is running rampant. The location is the Korean Martial Arts Association. This is a disaster in the making. Panic ensues as everyone scrambles, wondering how that orc managed to get loose so suddenly. An urgent command is shouted to the lady. "Get out of there right now." She hesitates, her only concern for the master still inside. Battered and bloodied, he refuses to back down. His eyes burn with the intensity of a warrior pushed to the absolute brink. The squad shares a rare moment of camaraderie under the bright sun. Brotherhood runs deep before the next brutal mission begins. The soldiers stand frozen in terror as a lethal, jagged shadow emerges to claim its prey. Panic ignites the air. The slaughter is about to begin. She struggles to speak, her voice trembling as she tries to warn the others. The situation is spiraling into total madness. He reflects on his past, realizing he was nothing more than a disposable cog in that guild's machine. Desperation hits as he reaches out, but the enemies are already making their escape. The hunt is on, and he won't let them vanish that easily. Smashed into the earth and bloodied, he refuses to back down. The raw intensity of his glare spells total destruction for anyone in his path. A death grip tightens around the hilt as the blade snaps clean off. The weapon is shattered, but the fight is far from over. The assailant unleashes a brutal, wall-shattering blow. There's nowhere left for his helpless victim to run. A terrifying shadow of pure malice looms over him, ready to crush his spirit. The final stand begins as absolute darkness descends. He screams his defiance, having endured 2 years of hell under that bald bastard. The disciples watch in absolute terror as a monstrous, shadowy beast lunges toward their master. One flick of a finger is all it takes to trigger a clash of titans. A colossal, glowing fist of raw power crashes down, leaving our hero cornered and desperate. The battlefield trembles as he braces for a devastating impact. The sheer scale of this fight is starting to break the environment itself. The ground shatters with a deafening impact. A massive shockwave obliterates everything in its path. With a lightning-fast strike, he slams his blade down to crush his opponent's defenses. The pressure is mounting as he refuses to back down. A nod of respect. "He did well, Gun-Su." He calls out in disbelief. "Is that really Seoyeol?" He steps forward with unwavering confidence, telling them to leave the rest to him. The system prompts them. "Would you like to enter the labyrinth?" The silence of the hall is shattered by an explosive burst of speed. He vanishes into the shadows before anyone can even blink. A brief pause in the chaos allows for a moment of reflection. He regrets his cool one-liner as he realizes he's just dragged himself into a nightmare. He yells for his pursuer to quit it, realizing this guy is way more of a monster than he bargained for. Rumors fly. Is it true the Steel-Blood orc just finished fighting the entire Overcross guild? He's never seen anyone smash through labyrinth walls with such terrifying ease. It's no wonder he's ranked so high. Facing a beast like this alone is basically a death wish. With a wicked grin and glowing eyes, he unleashes a surge of lethal power. The hunt is officially on. He offers a small, ominous gift to his opponent. A ghostly mist surges through the hallway with terrifying speed. Something dark and dangerous is closing in. The command is given. Full offensive, now. They push their luck, trying to exploit the opening before it closes for good. A monstrous predator lunges with lethal intent, cloaked in a surge of crackling, crimson energy. Its razor-sharp fangs are bared, ready to tear through anything in its path. A devastating strike cleaves the air, sending the monster's severed head flying. The battle reaches a bloody, brutal climax. A sudden, brutal strike catches him completely off guard. The shock registers as his world tilts into chaos. The status window updates with grim statistics. The labyrinth is reaching its limit. He curses in frustration. He just finished repairing the labyrinth, and now it's being trashed again. He concludes that normal monsters aren't cutting it. He has to take a massive risk before the blood hardens further. The stakes have never been higher for our hero. A thunderous strike obliterates the target in a flash of raw power. The beast is left completely defenseless against this devastating blow. A monstrous, red-eyed beast lunges forward with unstoppable, bone-crushing force. Nowhere left to run, the carnage is about to begin. The boss of the labyrinth, Ijori, makes its grand, terrifying appearance. The beast unleashes a ferocious, bone-crushing strike. Its eyes burn with pure, unadulterated malice as it tears through everything in its path. A monstrous beast erupts in a frenzy of jagged red energy and razor-sharp teeth. Pure, unadulterated carnage is about to be unleashed. Finally, the moment of truth has arrived. He spots it. A tiny, fleeting opening in the boss's defenses. A bone-shattering blow lands with explosive, crackling intensity. The sheer force of the impact tears through the very air. The beast lets out a deafening, soul-piercing scream, a desperate plea or a final rejection. The outcome is sealed. He watches, breathless, as the final blow connects. The system confirms it. The labyrinth boss has fallen, and respawning is officially disabled. He laments the loss of his precious boss, his voice dripping with venomous rage. He screams that the labyrinth is now completely useless thanks to his interference. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The system triggers a chain of traps, turning the arena into a deadly maze of steel. A deadly rain of steel needles pierces the air. There's nowhere to hide from this lethal assault. The massive beast tanks the onslaught, shrugging off a volley of arrows with brutal indifference. Its crystalline arm glows with lethal power as it prepares to crush everything in its path. The tension is palpable as a devastating strike tears through the very air. Absolute chaos is about to unfold. With a ruthless strike, he drives his weapon deep into the monster's flesh. Blood sprays as he delivers a lethal blow to his target. He demands one more hit to finish the job. A lethal strike slices through the air as the hero lunges at the monstrous beast. One precise movement turns the tide of battle in a flash. The weapon clicks into place, locking and loading for a lethal strike. There's no turning back now. The thorn sealing trap activates, sealing the fate of everyone inside. The chains snap with a deafening, bone-chilling crack. A ruthless execution has just been unleashed in the shadows. The tension hits a breaking point as our hero stands ready, spear in hand, to face the unknown. With adrenaline surging, the stage is set for a brutal showdown. He smirks, revealing that he set up a mountain of traps just in case things went south. It looks like the preparation finally paid off in a big way. The trap sequence initiates, turning the tide once and for all. A warning flashes. Labyrinth durability is critical. If it drops below 60%, the entire structure will collapse. He mourns the loss of the boss, admitting the damage is severe, but it was the only way to corner his prey. He pauses, confused by a strange disturbance in the air. The ground shatters as a monstrous red entity erupts into the fray. Our protagonist is caught off guard, staring down an absolute nightmare. A blood-curdling roar echoes through the chamber, vibrating in everyone's bones. A critical warning. The Steel Blood Orc has entered its final, desperate stage of power. He taunts the beast, noting that it's about to wreck the whole place, though he realizes the outside world is unusually quiet now. The air crackles with raw energy as he unleashes a devastating strike directly into his monstrous foe. One collision is all it takes to shatter the battlefield. An eerie silence hangs over the empty palace corridor. Danger lurks in the shadows of this deserted path. He wonders where everyone went, assuming the trainees have evacuated, but he can't seem to find Seo Yul anywhere. The mystery deepens as the clock ticks down. A terrifying rift in reality tears open, fueled by raw, crackling energy. Bloodied and desperate, he unleashes a power that threatens to consume everything in its path. He stares in horror, wondering where this sudden surge of magic power came from. A frantic call for his Hyungnim rings out through the darkness. Everything hangs in the balance as the final confrontation reaches its peak. Steel meets stone in a thunderous clash. Our hero parries the monster's massive strike with lightning-fast precision. He wonders in disbelief. Is he actually holding his own? Or is the beast just running out of steam? He realizes with a jolt that the monster's attacks are only getting more ferocious. Every single block makes his muscles scream in agony, but he refuses to back down. The air grows heavy with the scent of impending destruction as they stare each other down. Driven by pure adrenaline, he pushes his body to the absolute limit. His wild grin reveals a man obsessed with the thrill of the fight. Even as his body threatens to break apart, an unnatural, surging strength flows through his veins. He smiles, realizing that all those grueling hours of training are finally paying off in the heat of battle. A blade of pure, crackling destruction erupts with lethal power. The air itself shatters as this crimson nightmare descends. A thunderous blow connects as he slams his fist into the beast. The battlefield erupts in a blinding flash of pure, unadulterated power. The monster roars in agony as a lethal blow pierces its jaw. Blood sprays the battlefield in a display of pure, unadulterated carnage. Our hero is actually having the time of his life. Remind me never to challenge this guy to a game of tag. Static charges the air as he readies himself for a lethal strike. With a predatory grin, he prepares to unleash his true, terrifying power. The hero unleashes a crackling, blinding strike that sends the beast reeling. One direct hit is all it takes to shatter the silence of the battlefield. The battle rages on, and it's getting more intense by the second. He watches the beast with a cold, analytical gaze. Things are getting interesting. Crackling with raw power, he locks eyes with his prey. The hunt is officially on. With a lightning-fast grip, he intercepts the massive, glowing weapon. Not a single step back as he holds his ground against the crushing blow. The monstrous beast unleashes a devastating, lightning-charged strike. Nothing can survive the raw fury of that crushing blow. A massive, armored beast unleashes a devastating strike that shatters the very ground. Our hero barely deflects the blow, but the sheer force is enough to send shockwaves through the battlefield. A brutal strike sends the target spiraling into the wall. The impact is bone-shattering. A single, devastating blow sends the warrior flying through the air. His defenses are shattered as he crashes into the ground in a cloud of debris. He mocks the beast, impressed that even in a mindless frenzy, it still remembers how to use its head to guard its blood-hardened skin. The stakes are rising, and the beast is clearly not holding anything back. The blade strikes the ground with bone-chilling force. A lethal power radiates from that crimson-veined armor. A colossal monstrosity erupts onto the scene with a deafening roar. Our hero stands frozen as the beast prepares to unleash total devastation. A lethal strike slices through the air with blinding speed. The atmosphere shatters as the blade cuts deep. A lightning-fast strike pierces the monster's defenses with brutal precision. Blood splatters as the warrior shatters the beast's rocky hide in one explosive move. He shouts to his boss, vowing to buy some time while the gear is retrieved. A massive, demonic juggernaut crashes down with lethal force, sending our hero spiraling into the dirt. The battlefield erupts as absolute power shatters the ground beneath them. He grunts in pain, desperately trying to keep his composure despite the crushing impact. He grumbles about the weapon search, but his eyes light up as he finds his prize. He finally secures a weapon, and the look in his eyes spells bad news for the monster. With the weapon in hand, the tide of the battle is about to shift dramatically. He spots his opening while the beast is momentarily disoriented. he decides to pour every remaining ounce of energy into one final, desperate move. He prepares to make his power explode in a spectacular finish. A monstrous maw descends with lethal intent, ready to swallow the warrior whole. He screams in defiance as the jaws of death snap shut. The beast sheds its humanity, unleashing a bone-chilling roar of pure, unadulterated carnage. His jagged fangs are ready to tear through everything in sight. He screams for the beast to die, putting his entire soul into the attack. With a single, devastating strike, the giant is sent flying as its head is completely severed. The battlefield erupts in a spray of blood as the sheer power of the blow ends the fight in an instant. That was definitely a one-hit wonder if I've ever seen one. A notification chimes in his head. He's just acquired the unique grade, Demonic Dagger. He offers his thanks, clearly exhausted but relieved that the fight is finally over. He looks ahead, knowing that this victory is just another stepping stone for his training. Battered and bloodied, our hero hits the ground. Has he finally met his match? A voice calls out, checking if he's still in one piece after that brutal encounter. The dust settles, but the drama is only just beginning. He is urged to stay awake, as the situation remains critical. He opens his eyes to see his companion, who notes that he's an incredibly tough one to put down. He realizes who has been watching over him all this time. The companion questions who else would bother looking after him in such a dangerous place. The air turns cold as he realizes the ordeal is finally coming to an end. The massive tower looms over the city like a silent monolith. Something life-changing is about to go down inside. A mysterious figure watches from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He notices the arrival of an important figure and his eyes widen in recognition. It's Director Baek Junhwan of Overcross, and he looks like he's ready to do some damage control. The press swarms him, demanding to know if he's responsible for the illegal monster transportation scandal. He offers a calculated apology to the victims, playing the role of the humble leader perfectly. He claims the steel-blood orc was meant for research, trying to spin his recklessness as a noble scientific endeavor. He promises to cooperate with the investigation, but his eyes suggest he's already planning his next move. The crowd turns their attention to the hero, Seo Yul, who just wants to go home. The reporters are relentless, demanding to know how a lowly D-rank hunter managed to pull off such a feat. He brushes them off with a polite excuse, desperately trying to get to work. A bold reporter calls out the administration bureau for their utter failure to supervise the guilds. The journalist keeps the pressure on, arguing that the bureau is just as much to blame as the guilds. Seo Yul's associate calls the reporter out for spouting nonsense. They warn Seo Yul that the reporter is clearly a paid shill for the large guilds. Don't take the bait. It's clear the guilds are pulling every dirty trick in the book to smear his reputation. Seo Yul stops in his tracks, realizing he has a platform to address the public directly. He asks if they are still streaming live, realizing that this is his chance to set the record straight. He wants every word he says from this point forward to be heard by the world in real time. Things are about to get real, and the audience is already losing their minds in the chat. He turns to the camera and roars, asking if the public realizes who is actually cleaning up the mess these bastards leave behind. The crowd falls into a stunned, deathly silence as all eyes lock onto the shocking reveal. Tension spikes, and the atmosphere becomes thick enough to cut with a knife. He turns his gaze directly to Director Baek, daring him to deny the truth. The tension is so high you could fry an egg on the screen right now. Director Baek lets out a strangled cry as his carefully constructed lies begin to crumble. An associate rushes in to do damage control, claiming the hero is just sick and delirious. The director confirms the identity of the man who dared to defy him. The hunt is officially on. Department Head O confirms his loyalty, ready to carry out whatever dirty work is required. The order is given: crush the bastard once and for all. Inside the sterile walls of the conference room, the real war is being fought with words and politics. The clock is ticking, and the pressure in the room is reaching a boiling point. The media continues to churn out hit pieces, turning the public against our hero. One official argues that the disciplinary action against Seo Yul is far too excessive given the circumstances. He points out the obvious. The guilds are pulling strings, and the articles are clearly biased. It doesn't matter if the stories are true or not. The public is eating it up. Hyun Ki-hyuk, head of the surveillance department, stares down his colleagues with a look of pure disdain. He demands to know if they really think they did a good job, or if they're just as incompetent as they look. A thunderous slam rocks the room as rage boils over. He's reached his breaking point. An ally tries to talk him down, fearing he's lost his mind by confronting the higher-ups. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. He stands his ground, confirming that he refuses to be silenced by these corporate hacks. He argues that Seo Yul is an indispensable talent, one they cannot afford to throw away for the sake of the guilds. He asks the room if anyone has a better plan to save the Bureau's crumbling prestige. He notes that even if they can't get full revenge, they need to make a move that will shake the foundation of these guilds. Park Kwang-soo, the director, watches the chaos unfold with a calculating, dangerous look in his eyes.